This is a B-side match, which could be a final. Look at the Fargos. Oh, got into him pretty steep there, and the scratch into the side, a big kiss. The one caught the top point of the left side and tracked down to the lower corner. Not exactly how he wanted to open up. Felt like he hit those balls real square for a cut break.
All right, Scott, I'm going to jump in with you here for a little bit.
Absolutely, buddy. Frank Miletti, the man that's producing all of this, he's got his hands in everything right now. Honored to have him with me in the booth for a minute.
This literally could be a Moscone Cup matchup final, these two.
Yeah, probably has been multiple times in the past, actually. No doubt. Steep to the side here, Frank. It looked to me like he was missing it all along, kind of the way he was aimed. I almost thought he was playing safe. So he just was really focused on going into the 5.
Yeah, it's going to leave NIELS golden opportunity here. The 4 up into the left corner.
Yeah, I think it's pretty natural just to get past the 6. Skyler, another one of them, Frank, that has his own booth, Action 24/7 out here. So when you're dealing with all those people, it might take you a little while to settle in some of these matches.
His line is out the door. Him and Billy are over there having a good time with all the fans. And there's probably 50, 60 people over there every round. All right, NIELS up to the 7 ball in the top right pocket.
Yeah, Feijen happy to be back at the table after a pretty brutal scratch on the break. Kind of a glaring miss on, I think, the 3 ball by Woodward to the side.
Scott, we're gonna have a busy night, is what this is going to be. So this is the losers qualification round. Winners here. We'll get into the single elimination portion. Currently, the players that are waiting in the singles elimination portion are Federgorst, Claudio Cacci, Thorsten Hamann, Jason Shaw, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, Jesus Atencio, Pius Labudis, and Eklund Kachi.
Oh, that break looked real nice. I actually feel like he might have been trying to 3-rail the cue ball. Some of these guys will use a little bit of an inside versus an outside.
We'll have 2 more rounds after this round tonight, Scott. Once we get into the single elimination, we'll play the top 16 and then the top 8, bringing 4 back tomorrow.
Yeah, semifinals and finals tomorrow. Can he go up towards the 6 here with the cue ball and just send the 2 past the 5? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit short. He's got a thin chop to the side. Cue ball going to be a little bit hot.
It's a good rub off the 6. Lines him up for the 4 ball. This guy will take the 4 into the bottom left corner. Come around 3 rails for the 5. Got to be careful that side pocket, though. Five into the bottom left. This guy's natural on the 6 ball. Maybe just a little inside to keep it straight. Over for the 7.
Yeah, got a little bit of an awkward angle here, so he's going to have to punch. He's one of the best in the world at this. Gets so much out of the cue ball. Look at how much he got out of that with such a slight angle. He actually got to the long rail.
He goes through the ball so well. All right, Skyler Woodward looking to tie this game up 1-1. All right, we have 1-1 on the score.
Yeah, and we're back. The Terminator, NIELS FEIJEN, looking to break. Got into the balls real well. His first break, got a pretty brutal kiss to the right side pocket. As a matter of fact, I don't remember him cut breaking at the power he did the first rack. Oh, yeah, that's nice. He's going to have a look at the 2 as well. And there's another good look. The cue ball tracking 2 rails towards the 9. Kind of hard to tell if he just has a natural angle for the short side on the 3. But it looks here like he might even be going into it. Just floating this in if he can miss the 3. Great strike.
Crowd sort of emptied out after that round. I think they thought there was going to be a break. They're all starting to come back in now. No break for these players. We're all playing through the night. Neil's going to take this 4 to the top left. Comes down, has the 6 ball in the bottom left now, which will lead him right to the 7. I've always admired the Terminator's game, especially his teaching.
Yeah, he does a lot of great stuff online. A lot of different classes online. A lot of great information. Also coaches in person. Big on mindset. Real big on it.
Alright, we have 2-1 on the score. NIELS over Sky Woodward. If you're in the area and you have not come down, sorry guys, we're waiting for the announcements to go. If you're in the area, you have to stop down and come to the Super Billiards Expo here in Oaks, PA. Alright, we're going into rack number 4. Sky Woodward to break, trailing 2-1. Look here on the replay, makes the 1 on the side, dresses up for the 2. Play the 2 on the left side. Come down for the 3 ball.
Yeah, real natural here. I don't see really any trouble. 5 leads to the 6.
Alright, Sky playing the 4. Bottom right. Sky comes around the table for the 6 ball. I'm going to play the 6. Or sorry, for the 5 ball, apologize. Alright, Sky playing the 5 all the way down to the bottom. No, he's not. He's playing the 5 in the side. Now for the 6. Back over for the 7 in the same pocket.
Yeah, I didn't really want to finish on the rail there. Yeah, I might be forced to elevate and go into the 9. Could change things a little bit. This is the problem. Really finished awkward on the 7. Couldn't go forward with a level cue. And the minute you elevate like that to a 45, the ball drops down to about 30%. Getting it in. Used all the pocket there, Frank.
Yeah, it wiped its feet a little bit on the way in. Neil's looking to close this rack out. He's going to play the 8 to the top left.
Frank, take a look at this break.
Really hammered through. Let's see the replay on that one.
Yeah, he's getting a lot out of it. Two finished a little bit awkward here, right? Seem to see this a lot where it finishes high, but the good news is cue ball's a little bit high as well, so he is nice and close to it.
Scott, sometimes you see a player, they'll hide the cue in this situation and play the 2 and leave it down in the bottom rail, or sometimes they'll leave the 2 down in the bottom rail and leave the cue at the top. What determines that for you? Is it more about placing the object to the next closest ball?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think it's player preference. But in that scenario, when you're that close to the 2, I think you can control it a little bit more, and that's really what he did there. That was all cue ball with the big 8 ball where it was. But yeah, it's kind of like a player preference, Frank, I think, where, it's all how you feel. If you're good at edging the ball, then you can swing the cue ball down table. If you're more into, like, catching a full ball. So it's all towards the player, but Sky not going to get a rail.
Ball. Ball in hand to NIELS. NIELS looking at that 4 and the 9. He's going to have to get position on the 4. Not a shot you really want to go into the 4-9. You want to be able to set yourself up for a good pocket for the 4.
Yeah, what do you think, Frank? Dropping below it, maybe?
Yeah, I'm thinking dropping below it, playing the 4, maybe up table.
Yeah, he's got a little more steep than I think he expected. He can probably go forward, Frankie, and just use the 9 to kind of help the cue ball forward. I don't know, though. It might be so steep that he does have an option to just tuck behind it, but I think he stays aggressive.
Yeah. I think NIELS feeling pretty good right now, being up 3-1. He's going to try to extend that lead. NIELS goes with the natural on the 5, comes across for the 6 ball. Catches the rail on the way in, but sets himself perfectly for the 7. NIELS punches off the left side rail for the 8. NIELS really cruising right now, looking to get himself into a 4-1 lead. Here on the losers qualification side, this is not something you normally see, these two giants here on the B side. All right, we have 4-1 on the score. All right, 4-1 on the score. Dry break right now. We're going to welcome Brad back with us. What's up, Brad?
I appreciate that that quick breather. Spent most of the day with you guys here on the stream, and it feels good to get refreshed for a minute and
Rest the voice.
Yeah, back here to watch some great pool. I walk away, and it's the very start of a match. I come back, and this is a pretty quick match, huh? We're 4-1.
No one's ever accused these two guys of being slow.
I like it. A little bit of pace here.
And they want to get themselves into that final draw, the top 16.
So playing for top 16, I like it. So this is still A side?
No, this is B side.
B side, okay.
B side, yes. Lose here, you're out.
All right, lose and go home.
But the winners here even gets you into that single elimination portion of the bracket.
Pocket's going to look real big off that. Oh.
Basically resets after this match. Now, if you're new to the matchroom style of bracketing, when we get to the stage 2 single elimination, the players that were unbeaten stay in their respective order, and then the players that have the one loss then get randomly selected in. So theoretically, you could see the previous matchup. We had Federer versus Sanjin. You theoretically could see a rematch of that on the first round.
Wow. So I'm a little late to this match, but what are these guys doing well? Is a break working for either of them, or where are we at?
Sky missed a couple of uncharacteristic shots for him to miss.
Okay.
And NIELS has not really made any mistakes yet. So he's capitalized on Sky's mistakes in this matchup. Sky got a little tough on a 7-ball earlier after making a routine shot, and then cost him a rack. Comes around the table beautifully.
Yeah, it's a big pocket with the 5 there like that, right? I mean, I think that no need to overcomplicate this.
NIELS makes both balls on that shot. Kind of a two-way, leaves himself lined up for the 6.
Yeah, it's okay. He played out enough for it. Assuming that could be a possibility there.
NIELS taking a few seconds. Just gonna shore up his fundamentals. Scott and I were talking earlier about how Neil teaches, has a lot of information on YouTube.
So what's our next round time here, Frank?
8:15.
Okay, and back over to A.
Well, single elimination.
Single elim. Oh yeah. We switch over. Great.
It turns into the 16. We'll run 2 rounds tonight. We'll run it down to the final 4. So we'll run 8:15 and then 10:30. A little bit of a tricky shot here for NIELS. He's going to play some good position. Playing the 7 into the corner and the 8-9 being close to each other. Doesn't want to risk carrying off a ball prematurely, so he really got to focus on his leave. Comes directly through that 8-9 to come back and bump the 8. Looking for the bridge. Eight speed by the Terminator. Looking to play this 9 in to make the score 5-1. I actually was at NIELS BCA introduction to the Hall of Fame last year down in Virginia. It was a great night celebrating the Terminator.
An absolute legend in the sport, right? And two legends in the sport really here going at it. Both over 800 Fargo. This is a wild match to be on the B side right now.
Yeah. We have 5-1 on the score. Let's take a look at that shot Niels made. Last rack goes right between the 8-9. Comes back over and just bumps the 8 into position. Alright, we're going to go into rack 7 now. Niels firmly in the lead, 5-1, and it's his break. Looking to extend that lead. Alright, Brad, so let me read you so I'll tell you the top 8. And we're looking at these guys to get in.
All right.
So the top 8 starting all the way at the top, of course, the Ghost, Fedor Gorst, Claudio Cacci, Torsten Hamann, Mr. 832, Jason Shaw, FSR, Jesus Atenzio, Pius Labudas, Eklund Cacci. Anybody sticking out to you as the winner there? Or are you picking somebody from the B side?
You know, it's tough because I picked Sky early on, right? And it's looking like I don't know how to pick him. So Fedor was Scott's pick, and Fedor looks good.
I picked Eklund.
Yeah.
I'm staying with Eklund.
Yeah, Eklund could do it.
I think
Claudio could do it. It could go to the family.
I think I've seen Eklund maybe for 10 minutes this weekend because he just plays his match and he's out.
Yeah.
Of course, what I mean by out, he's not leaving. He's going, hanging out, talking with fans, but his matches have been pretty quick. Oh, Niels catches the 7 and scratches at the same time.
Look at the 2. 2, 3, 4. All clustered up there in the corner of the table.
This guy's got a good opportunity here. He catch one back on Niels' break. Try to shorten the lead. Good position off the combo for Sky. He's got a natural angle from the 2 to the 4. Sky powers off the 9-ball going forward for the 7. Placing that very well, gets a nice rub. This guy's looking to close this lead. Make the score 5-2. All right, guys. U.S. Open tickets go on sale Monday, April 14th. If you're a WNT.TV subscriber, you get first crack. So make sure you, right now, if you're on the digital pool platform and you wanted to get early tickets for the U.S. Open, you can sign up for the WNT package. I highly recommend going to the U.S. Open. It is by far my favorite tournament of the year. You see some of the great international players. Pretty much most of the international players around the world hold the U.S. Open in incredibly high esteem. It's one of their bucket list items to win. All right, we're going to get that score updated for you here in a second. 5-2 with Sky breaking. Going to close that gap.
Pretty wide open here, Frank. I think the
Watch Sky on the replay here. Makes the 1 on the side.
2 going to the 3 is really the only iffy shot here to get started. It's just the opening shot.
Around the 5, the 8. 3 rails. Sky punches the ball. Scott was saying earlier, plus I agreed with him. Sky punches the ball better than anybody around. He just gets so much out of it when he hits it. Look at this though, Brad. 4-9 combo.
Yeah, you got to take it, right? I mean,
You're down 3. You want to try to...
a little bit of pace on it.
Yeah. Don't want to necessarily leave the 9 in the pocket, but you have to... It's one of those things, do you sacrifice accuracy for power, or do you really try to hone in on it and just focus on making the ball more? Looks like Sky did it. 5-3 on the score. And that quickly, we went from having a 4-game lead to a 2-game deficit now. It's going to be NIELS break.
Sky had a smart, disciplined rack there, right? And battled right back. I think at the end, I don't think either player is running away with this match. I think we're going to see a very close score at the end.
Yeah, the key shot there was that 3-railer by Sky, really punching that ball around the table.
Absolutely.
All right, NIELS getting the rack set up.
Who's up next? Do we have a match yet?
No, it's single elimination next.
Do we have a match yet?
Now we just got to wait for these to finish. All the 8, all the...
I'll tell you, Scott, there could be a benefit, a little bit of a benefit here with this round, with players playing, players that play a little faster than other players, because with them doing the draw, they have to wait till the entire round is finished, so we can randomly pull the draw. So if a player gets done a few minutes earlier, they might have a few minutes extra break than somebody who's just coming off of a later match.
Yeah, and I think, when you start getting down towards the end here, rest is obviously a pretty big factor. So it definitely can't hurt. These guys are all used to waiting, sometimes 1 round a day, sometimes 2 rounds a day. And I know that back in the day, I think when I was in my prime, I liked it less the longer I had to wait. I'd rather played back to back to back to back. But now the way everything is structured, I think that these guys are looking for a little bit more time in between matches.
You're playing for a smaller window here on the 4, right? What do you see here, Scott? You're gonna pull it back a little, or
anywhere on the left side of the table, you can go forward here. You can get close. You don't even have to really try to get too close here with maybe just a high outside ball. Is he gonna pull it back? I thought in the line, look, he could get real close to the 4 if he just. Oh well, very well done. Thought he might even be able to get past it real nice and tight to the pink, but no problems. Brandon Schuff on our lower right. Didn't like something he just did.
Thought he was nodding in agreement with you, Brandon Schuff. Yes, that's me.
He does a lot of work behind the scenes for Digital Pool. And a really good kid. Now he's not even a kid anymore, but he came up underneath me, and I've watched him play for 2.5 decades practically. I think he's at the top of his game right now, if he could just keep playing. Yeah, so sending the cue ball around a couple times. Just wondering how steep this is. Can he beat the 7 Brad above it? I believe he can if he pinches back. Could go forward. Just giving it a little more time, it tells me that might require. Yeah, so what's he gonna do? Is he punching? Yeah, I tell you what. Once I saw him, he didn't cue completely low. Once I saw him go to that, I thought, well, maybe he's gonna try and punch between the 7 and 9. Felt like it was pretty touchy. Handled it with ease.
Talk about soft hands, right? Those last couple shots, super touchy shot, really soft hands. Really seems to have good control of the cue ball here.
Yeah, Niels is one of those in that conversation, without a doubt. He's got so many achievements, but one of those in the conversation with the big soft hands. And game number 9 does go to Feijen. $15,000 up top. What I look at most, though, is 13th through 16th. I think it's pretty important to recognize. Yes, it is a $500 entry fee, but if you finish in the final 16, you don't quite get where you need to be. I think that $2,800 covers a lot of the expenses. That's nice to see.
Yeah, I like how the payouts are distributed. I think I like it when they pay a little bit less to the field and play a little bit more top heavy, right? I mean,
yeah, what a big break there, and we see it all the time. Side rail to side rail with the 2 in the queue. Boy, with the 7 hanging over the corner, really makes things a little tricky. Can't go up table, really. Yeah, the up table option is really out, even for a jump shot up table.
Yeah, the 5 makes things difficult. The 8, 9 are all in the way. I don't know here.
Yeah, is he looking there, right where he had his cue on that line for a jump defensive play, which is, I like the idea, actually. It's tough to actually hold the cue ball right there, and that's what I was saying. Why don't you try it sometime without using a rail? Just try to get the cue ball within a couple of inches of where you want to roll it. It is so much more difficult than it looks. And that was a push, just so you guys know. Definitely attacking here.
I like that Niels is keeping his foot on the gas, right? I think that he found success early and he jumped out to that little lead. And when everything is working, right, why would you change anything? Just has his stroke pretty open and looks good.
Yeah, he's no stranger to his position in matches, right? And I think that with the score line and that option there, it never even crossed his mind to play safe. He knows when to step on the gas when he's got his man down. Will be Niels' break next. So real, actual, legitimate chance to get this to 8-3. Think you want to get all the way over here to the long rail?
So with a pretty simple layout here, I want to ask you a question. I've asked you a lot about these players throughout the weekend because you've spent a lot of time commentating on them for years and playing with a lot of these players. What do you think Niels' big competitive advantage is? What makes him different than some of the other players here? What's his secret?
I tell you what, his mindset is fabulous. He has a tendency at times to get a little heated under the collar, but I think his mindset, for the most part, and his work ethic is, like a lot of the elite players, second to none. Both of those together, his work ethic and his mindset. He just did a video the other day, and I thought it was great because I talk about this with the amateurs. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to miss balls, but the difference is the elite player will miss a ball, and they will forget about it very quickly. They just move past it, where an amateur player tends to let that fester.
With that 9-ball, Niels pulls ahead a little bit more, widening the gap to a 7-3 lead on Sky Woodward. Everything's going really well for Niels right now. He's got the break working well, and speaking of that, he's up in rack your own format, breaking again. Looking to keep this train rolling.
It's such a big break. 2 finishing high again. Don't think you'll attack here, Brad. It seems like the 4 is a big ball. Now, if he could shoot the 2 to the top right and avoid the 4, or know that he's coming from the backside of the 4 thin and the cue ball tracks down table, he might play it, but a 7 seems like a pretty big ball to get into. defensively. So he overcut it. Notice the cue ball tracked off the 4, back down table. He fluked it in. But that tells me if he would have caught it thick or where he needed to make the ball, he might have crashed full into the 4. A little surprising he actually took that on. Now, Brad, he's got to beat the right side pocket, meaning get below it, which can also be real tricky.
I don't see. I don't see him doing anything else right now. I know it is a little bit tricky, but I think he's going to go for the shot.
I think his percentages go way up if he just kind of levels out. Takes a longer cut on the 3. Look how close he is to the 5 there. Absolutely got the most out of that.
That's picture perfect. You don't rearrange any of the furniture here, right? You just come down and work with that 6-ball later?
Yeah, I don't think you want to flirt with it now. You see where his cue is. He can come 1 rail or 2 rails towards that line. I almost like the 1 rail line. I think it's a little easier. But if you have that angle, then you can come towards him. He's going to choose to go outside and wrap around the lower left. Yeah, Brad, now, to your point, now you can get to short side if you choose. Can come back and forth if you'd like to try to knock the 9 out of the way, but I don't see it. How steep is he really? Oh, he's pretty steep, so he might actually try to come twice into the 9. Or the 6, right? Either one. Oh, he could just float it in. Used all of the pocket there to help slow the cue ball down a bit. Well, we definitely know he's got an opportunity to just weld him to the 9, but it's hard to pass up the 6 to the lower right. After all the work you've done, you really don't want to let Skyler back to the table in any way, shape, or form if you're Feijen.
Just want to take a quick second to welcome Frank Mieletti from PA Pro-Am. Back onto the stream here.
I have some cool information to bring for you, actually. So, during the day here, Alan Hopkins Productions sold some more sponsorships. So the actual prize fund has now increased from what we showed you earlier. So we have some new payouts here that we're going to go over in a few minutes. And I've also been informed about the way that Hopkins Production does the bracketing here. So the 1-loss players are actually going to stay in their own bracket, and the 0-loss players are going to play each other. So next round, instead of having the players that we mentioned earlier basically have a random draw, we're going to have a Eklakachi versus Pius Labutis. And with this pay structure that they have, the 1-loss players are entitled to a loser side, essentially money, and winner side, and 0-loss players are entitled to essentially more money per match. So our next matchup on the stream will be Pius Labutis versus Eklakachi.
Yeah, so essentially what you're saying, Frank, and I get it. So basically the winner side, they have it split. Like the winner side has their own section of pay, or the A side, and the B side has their own section of pay, which is pretty cool, and they have added the money to it. Do you want me to touch on it?
Yes, sir, please.
So Frank made this for us, which is awesome, and we'll notice up top 15K. Well, it's still 15,000 up top. Second place is 9,000. Third place has now jumped to 7,500. Fourth place now 6,000. Fifth place 4,700. Seventh, eighth 4,100. So it looks like increments of 500. 9th through 12th is 3,400, and 13th through 16th is 3,000. But that's pretty cool that they added more money to the event. Good stuff.
It's just a great ever-growing pot. It's awesome. So we'll get these prices updated for you and get a new graphic on the screen so you guys can see this in a little bit.
Yeah, and I apologize. We had the prize money up and overlooked the break. I thought that we'd get it off in time. But I'm assuming this is after the break? Skyler must have broke dry. A pretty odd layout, actually. So maybe a bunch of kisses in the middle of the table, and the one, I'm assuming, caught the point of the side and finished here. Yeah, looking to push. Really putting a lot of thought into this, Brad.
Yeah, I like it. There wasn't a great opening shot there, right? And everything is tied up, and this leaves a lot of work ahead of.
Yeah, I really like the idea. Whether he gets total cover or not, I don't know, but I like the idea the 3 and 4 were such big balls. Excuse me, the 3 and 8.
I think you need to come behind the one, right? Kick it back down.
There's nothing wrong with that, for sure. If he can see a piece of it, he might use it.
Yeah, if he can thin it, I would definitely opt to do that. A little deceiving from this angle.
You're not going to tell from any angle. Real tough here. Yeah, so he must be able to edge it, Brad, if he's using the tip of outside. Oh, yeah, you can get into a lot of it. Wow. Skyler gives him his props.
This guy narrowly misses that one. It's going to dress up a little bit. No. 2 balls giving him a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, this is real awkward. I don't know if you can go to the long rail just in front of the side or not.
You have some balls available if you want to get some cover. If you want to play that 1 back over to the other side of the table, you have the 4, the 9, the 2. There's a lot of different balls you can play with there. Hide a few things.
Yeah, how much of the 1 can he actually see here? Boy, this is really funny. Can he get enough to draw out of the side here and maybe just bank the 1 down past the 6? Yes, he could.
That laid out pretty nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, had a lot of room for error really there. Oh, very good shot by Skyler. This is one, and I know these guys aren't like that, this is one you might want to have them watch because you could feather the 5 without realizing it. Sometimes that ball will rock when you're just trying to jump a piece of it, just a tiny piece. He's taking a close look. Q is going to find the rail.
Oh, he needs this cue ball to stop just in time. Getting from the 4 to the 5 is probably going to be the tougher of the shots here, right? Left in the rack.
Yeah, agreed. Might have to track into the 8 here as well. A little thinner on the 3 than he'd wished.
You could probably use the 8 to hold, and then you can either play the 4 ball on the side or all the way down the table.
Yeah, now I can see, though. It does look, Brad, with this angle, that I think you can miss the 8 without any trouble. So, to what you and I touched on many times before, if he gets the angle on the 4, he can play the 5 into the top left, and that's exactly where he wants to be. Might even be able to go directly into the 9. Pretty good. A little bit of a surprise. I didn't expect him to catch it too heavy there. Just going to butter him up behind the 9.
He has just enough room to use that rail. I don't think he's glued to it. He's not welded to the 9, I don't believe.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he can definitely get from this long rail to the 5. Not gonna like it. Could just come up above the rack point, somewhere around there. I don't see any reason to try and get to the left side of the table.
Left himself a nice window there. Work down off that. Can either come right back across or work down off that bottom rail if he wants to come 2 rails back.
Yeah, might be digging into this actually. Sure did. Used to settle.
He overrolled that a bit. Where do you go now, Scott?
I'm pretty sure you'll go to the top left. It's a pretty big pocket that way, and he doesn't have to hit it as hard. So it should take the ball. A little bit of a blind cut, but stopped just in the nick of time. Easily recovered.
All right, and with that, NIELS goes up 9-3 over Skyler Woodward. Looking for one more here to close this out.
Yeah, right, the big break by the man from the other side of the world. Oh, the 9 gets a big kiss. Distance, though, he's not going to be thrilled with it.
Well,
No 9 before it's time, but maybe the time is now.
yeah, I think this is as good as a chance he's going to get to try to close it. I think he'll at least take a good look at it.
Yeah, no doubt he's going to go after this ball. It might be kind of free as well, Brad, where he can get the cue ball back down table, but I guess it all depends on how hard he wants to hit it. Do you hit it a little easier where the pocket accepts the ball? Big combination for Feijen to close this match out and send Woodward packing. Caught it heavy.
That's a benefit of putting a little pace on it, though, right? That you don't just leave it there in the pocket for the next player to come on up and then possibly be able to draw into or carry him into. And now, looks like a pretty straightforward rack now. No way to E9, or early 9, rather.
Yeah, everything opened up for sure. Great bank from Woodward.
Keep an eye on that shirt to remind all the viewers at home, it is all ball foul.
Yeah, speaking of that, watch out NineBall with the cue. Yeah, did he undercheck this ball? Just cleared the 7, so he can chop at it, but it is a thin one. Might be better off just taking a bank at it. not his day.
Yeah, Sky overall a pretty good banker too, and that was just a hair off of perfect.
Niels has really applied pressure this set to Sky. This format, when you get down 9-3 against a big breaker like Feijen, it's a big hill to climb.
Niels really maintained control throughout this entire match, right? I mean, Niels is playing really good.
Yeah, he's done everything he can do, right? When you gain control of the break, he's kept control of the break. Sky's had some unfortunate kicks, kisses. He's had no real good looks after the break. So that's also going to benefit Feijen. And to your point, really, overall, he has just kind of dominated this match. And there are going to be matches like that. It could have gone the other way for Woodward, there's no doubt. We all know that.
Gives himself a great angle to pull back the pro side of that 9.
And the Terminator going to get it done. Woodward throwing in the towel. Woodward is gone. Feijen moving on. Brad, thank you very much.
Thank you for having
8:15 is the next round. We'll talk to you very soon.